Da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-dum, da-dum. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Everstakes, hello, hello. It's good to see you. Oh, running a little bit behind, but for the most part, we're on time. Got a little bit to cover today. I don't know how long we'll go for, but we'll see what we can get covered and talk about. Still getting everything set up here. Any specific news you would like to cover today? Anything that you found interesting the last day or so? I think going forward, Everstakes, what I'll do is I'll send you the topics, send you and Bond the topics we'll talk about. The back rooms. Yeah. Abinish, hello, hello. Get this pulled up. Got a lot of check-ins. I gotta mark as complete. We're just hanging out today, talking about gaming news, news of the world. Let's see. Gotta mark these as complete. All right. Let me get swapped over here. Here we go. So, welcome to the weekly gaming and media pop culture news update with the prepared artist news and resources. Your trusted name and shenanigans. We could throw out. Let me swap over here. Save that for a minute. Let's the back rooms, huh? Let's check that out. Back rooms. Igor, hello, hello. Liminal horror movie Backrooms finally has a release date. This is over at Fangora by Amber T. Viral YouTube horror adaptation Backrooms has a release date, with A24 announcing today that the Kane Parsons feature will, will officially hit theaters on May the 29th, 2026. So this is going to be a strange one. Sounds very interesting. Sure, most people know about the back rooms and the mythology and the lore behind it. Sounds interesting. Definitely have to check that out. I don't know how a whole. I wonder if it's going to be a entire hour and a half long feature, maybe a found footage kind of thing. Seems that this one hasn't covered the new trailer. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid actually showing trailers and stuff like that. Make sure that I can't, or I don't get hit with any kind of copyright strikes and stuff. But yeah, let's see if we can actually find. I guess this is only a screenshot. Mike Flanagan, produced by James Wan, Atomic Monster, Backroom Star, Chitawelta. Not sure how to say that. Interesting. Definitely have to check that one out. March the 20th. Ready or Not, Here I Come Too. Never seen that before. I don't even know if I've seen the second or the first movie of this. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. All right, let's move along to what we got. Starting off with or not starting off. We started off with the backrooms stuff. So starting off with some gaming news, we got over here Phil Spencer is retiring after 38 years at Microsoft. When the movie is announced, Kane is still 17 years old. Interesting. Yeah, so Phil Spencer, the longtime CEO of Xbox, is stepping down. Asha Sharma, named new CEO of gaming. This also comes as Sarah Bond stepping down as well, making him the youngest A24 director ever. That's up talking about the back rooms. That's cool. He's got a bright future ahead of him if he's only or if he's that young. Definitely have to check out that movie. It looks interesting. I've only played the Backrooms game like once or twice, but when the Backrooms first became the thing, I was deep into the lore of it. I was like looking around, seeing if I could find the actual place that the Backrooms, where it came from, and I got interested in liminal photography from the Backrooms craze that was going on back in the day. I did a whole project about liminal spaces in college. He's the first person to make Backrooms content after the 4chan post. That's really cool. Yeah, I became obsessed because I could have sworn that I have been in a place like that before. Um, and it was in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. That look, I was in this old historic building that looked very similar to it, but it's not the same place. But I thought for a while that it might have been the same place, but after lots of digging, I figured out that it wasn't. Very interesting. The first video you shared on Discord, he was 16 by the time he posted that found footage video. That's awesome. I mean, he basically, if that's true, he basically like started an internet mythology surrounding the back rooms and that kind of thing. So interesting stuff. So yeah, Phil Spencer's out. Asha Sharma is in. Asha Sharma hails to us from Instacart, and she's also was at Meta for a while. And this also comes as Sarah Bond's also stepping down. Rumors have been circulating that Sarah Bond may have been pushed out, but it seems like she dispelled some of those rumors the other day on her LinkedIn account. And this is an article by Todd Bishop over here at GeekWire. Phil Spencer, the leader of Xbox, who spent 38 years at Microsoft, helped reshaping the gaming industry through big acquisitions and a bet on cloud gaming, is retiring from the company. Bone, hello, hello. Oh, it's all good. We're just getting started, so nothing really much. We just talked about the Backrooms movie that's coming out very soon. And then we were just going over, like, we're literally just getting started, really. But yep, Phil Spencer is out at Xbox. Asha Sharma stepping in, big into AI. A lot of controversy over this. People have been saying that, or people on Twitter have been talking about how they believe that the company is headed in the wrong direction. They're worried about the future of Xbox with someone who is uh, big into AI stepping into the role as CEO. Um, let's see here. And then you got some comments that the former founder, this is another article over here at, was it GameSpot by Eddie McCook? Machut? Machits? I'm not sure how you say this name right here. Xbox founder says new CEO should quit today if she's not passionate about gaming. So the one of the former founders of Xbox had a lot to say about this um, new CEO, Asha Sharma. Um, he really believes, according to a lot of this, that they're going to do a big push for AI and gaming. Let's see here. I got news. This just got posted when you're going live. What you got? What you got? You shared some news on Discord. Let's check it out real quick. So yeah, the former founder had a lot to say about it. He said, they're living in a world where generative AI is the solution to the problems, and so the application of generative AI is the only solution that they need to think about. Once they've done that, the generative AI will then take over the problem. Whether or not you believe in that, like I said, is a deciding factor in whether or not you believe this will be a successful strategy. Wolverine finally has a release date around 15 minutes ago. Interesting. Let's see here. Stream news. Did you post that in the moderate or the? Okay, here we go. Wolverine release date launches September the 15th, 2026. Some interesting breaking news update there. Insomniac Games, according to Insomniac Games. We got Death Stranding 2 specs detailed. What else we got here? Radical Entertainment appears to be rebranding as New Radical Games. Ryan Coogler's X Files series plot has been greenlit at Hulu, according to Culture Crave. Coogler's writing and directing the plot. Jennifer Yale is the showrunner. Follows two vastly different FBI agents assigned to a long shuttered division of cases. I'm totally down for that. I'm totally down for that. Um, the new the new X Files series that came out like a couple of years ago, I honestly was kind of disappointed in, especially the way it ended. I feel like they brought it back twice. They brought it back recently, a couple of years ago, and then they brought it back 4 or 5 years ago, and then it left off on a cliffhanger. I really feel like it should have probably stayed gone. Um, I wasn't happy with a lot of the reveals that happened. I'm a big, huge X Files fan. In fact, my son Fox is named after Fox Mulder off X Files. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Xbox will add AI like in their system to optimize performance. Well, we don't really know yet, Bond. It's really all speculation. Um, but a lot of people, including the former founder, is saying that um, Xbox is pretty much on life support, and they're worried that there's going to be this big push for not just AI being integrated into the console, but they may be sunsetting Xbox and moving towards a Game Pass online model, AI driven. It's a hard to expect anything from the Xbox division. We'll have to wait and see if they can improve such a big brand. They almost to destroy it. That's sad. Yeah, I agree. Hello, hello. What's up, Prakar? But yeah, if Microsoft keep pushing AI BS, they're going to kill Xbox. That's basically what the former founder is saying here. And um, let's see. Let me see if I can find his comments about him being on life support. Game business failed in the business, learned blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't see his comments here about it. The games. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about it. Is myself. I'm fine. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Oh, here it is. Here it is. He added that Xbox is going to be sunsetted because it's not core to Microsoft's vision going forward, at least not in its current setup. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect that the new CEO, Asha Sharma, her job is going to be as a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. Now, that's a sad statement right there. And honestly, I mean, they've been. It seems like they're pushing towards this by even their exclusives. It seems they're in talks right now about pushing the exclusives to other platforms and PC. But I mean, they're only doing it to themselves, and it's kind of sad to see. But you know, could this be a opening for Valve and for the Steam Deck and the Steam Machine? Possibly. But that's pretty shady in my opinion. Then what we got here? Let's see. What do we got next up? Next up, we got Tencent secretly funded High Guard. This is an article over here from GameSpot by Eddie, same guy, Eddie Machuk and Jordan Rami. Since the tumultuous reveal of High Guard during 2025's The Game Awards, there's been a question as to where the funding of the game's studio Wildlight Entertainment came from. Multiple new reports point to Tencent being among the backers. Yeah, I know it's a shame, but they don't value the brand. You're right, Igor. They've they've pushed it um into a place that is not good. I mean, Xbox used to be, right up there with the rest of them, but now it seems like, mistake after mistake. They're pushed to get away from hardware. Um, like I said, pushing out exclusives to other platforms has just not been a good idea. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too, Everstakes, in a second. But Valve has still problems with the RAM shortage, unfortunately. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. There's been a YouTuber who's been saying this for years since the launch of Xbox One. Many wrong steps have been taken. I would agree, Igor. Especially, I was one of the day one Xbox One. I was there at Best Buy at midnight buying an Xbox One. I was really excited about the capabilities that they advertised with it, being able to integrate with cable. Um, it was going to be your all inclusive gaming setup. It was going to be able to run cable through it. You would be able to record live TV. You would be able to do all these really cool things that ultimately just got axed. And it just seems like starting from there, the company's position on hardware started to go downhill. And then they pushed out like three different versions of the same console, um, just with a little bit better specs. It's a sad day to see that, a platform that was doing so well 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, is in the position that it is in now. Let's see. But yeah, so High Guard came out. It flopped. A lot of people hated it. A lot of people are calling it Concord 2.0. Um, but it seems to be that one of its mysterious backers was Tencent. Historically, Tencent has been a regular investor in new teams. The game business editor in chief and co founder Christopher Dring posted online. You'd be surprised at how many other devs have secret, but not actually secret, Tencent backing. In my opinion, um, this is only a smart and savvy business move by Tencent. Um, quietly fund games, and if they don't do well, you know, um, you're not really out a whole lot. You know, a lot of people have take issue with Tencent funding games and stuff because they're a foreign investor. However, I believe a lot of foreign games, especially some of the ones that have been produced by Tencent, have been killing Western titles for over 2 years now. They've been like just straight up killing it with games like Was the Wukong? Wukong. Games like Wukong, lots of other stuff like that. Stellar Blade, although I don't think they're funded by Tencent, but they're a foreign title. Let's see what else. Wukong, Stellar Blade. There was another one that just came out recently. I can't remember the name of, but it was good too. Let's see here. But yeah, it's just interesting that they're quietly funding games. 30 million, 20K. Stellar Blade was funded by Sony, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. But in my opinion, foreign games have been killing the AAA market here in the West for a while. Wu Chang, yeah, Wu Chang. Where the Winds Meet, or Where Winds Meet. All great games. Um, and that just goes to show you that um, investors and companies here in America, in the West, they're focused, it seems like, on what they can get out of the game instead of making the players happy. And sometimes it seems like they're focused on agendas, corporate marketing, things like that, over making good gameplay. And that's why, in my opinion, a lot of these Tencent games are doing well. But in this instance, it didn't work out for them with High Guard just going into the tank. Let's see here. What else do we got? What else we got? We got. Oh, here we go. A trailer just dropped by. Let's see where it's at. Where is Toy Story 5? This is over here at Digital Trends. You're going to sleep. Cool, Prakar. Have a great evening. Have a good nap time, or nap time, but night night. See, I saw Toy Story 5's first trailer. Here's one of the film where we reinvigorate Pixar's iconic franchise. Now, I'm not going to show the trailer because Disney is like notorious for hitting people with copyright. But it seems like the guys from Toy Story are back. Buzz Lightyear and the rest of them. And like I said, this is an article by Digital Trends by Anthony Orlando. Woody's back as Tom Hanks. Um, Tim Allen's back. Joan Cusack is Jesse. Seems like they're going to be going up against the iPad generation. Let's see. Sephiroth, good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Where is it at? Having been born in the late 90s, the Toy Story films were a big part of his life, and the franchise is set to explore a new generation of childhood with its fifth movie, directed and written by Andrew Stanton. Oh, Sephiroth says it's funny that Toby Fox, the creator of Undertale slash Deltarune, is involved somehow in Toy Story 5. Interesting. Interesting update there, Sephiroth. I like Undertale. I haven't played Deltarune, but I want to check that out. It seems very cool. Let's see here. Where was it at? Yeah. Other toys within their own receive the Sinister Smart Tablet. As Bonnie becomes engrossed with her new gadget, her old pal Woody returns to help his friends stop Lilypad from replacing them. So it's probably going to go over like some stuff about like AI, imagination, um, things like that. Seems interesting. I think it will do well in the theaters. It'd probably make a lot of money. The sequel will naturally feature some new toys, characters including Atlas, Craig Robinson, Smarty Pants, Conan O'Brien, Snappy, Shelby Rabara, and Dr. Nutcase, Maddie Matheson. I really like Maddie Matheson, actually. He's a very interesting guy. He's a cook. He does a show on YouTube. He's in a couple other shows called The Bear um, with the guy from Shameless. Definitely interesting dude. He actually has a lot of good recipes. I recommend looking him up on YouTube. But it's really interesting. It's been a while since we had a Toy Story movie. Let's see what else we got going on. Next up, where is it? Coming out this Friday, I believe. Ghostface is back. This is an article over here on what is this? Games Radar. Ghostface is back in a big way. Scream 7 is set to debut to a franchise best opening weekend as pre-sales show no sign of slowing down. So Ghostface is back with some of the original cast. Nev Campbell is back as the final girl, Sydney Prescott. Honestly, um, I have not watched anything past. I think the Scream 4 movie. I think that's the last one I went in. I have a really good friend that was actually in the background as a extra in Scream 2. Shout out to Christian. Long ago in the dark ages. Although the series slasher has made a name for itself by satirizing other horror flicks and making reference to other films in the franchise, Scream 7 looks set to buck the trend. This movie doesn't really have the meta goal, director Kevin Williamson recently revealed. It's continuing the legacy of Sidney Prescott. It's about her daughter, it's about family. So it seems like Ghostface is going to be going after her daughter in the movie. Seems very interesting. Let's see. This is an article by Emily Garbett. Matthew Lillard is coming back. I heard the entire movie leaked. Interesting. I really like Matthew Lillard. He seems like a good guy. A really funny thing about Matthew Lillard, I don't know how long ago this was, but um somebody invaded his property and he jumped up in the middle of the night and chased him off his property in his underwear, which is kind of funny. Honestly kind of funny that he wasn't armed when he did it. He just jumped up and ran out and chased the person off. There's video of that. You can probably find it on X. See if I kind of just want to look it up, just see if I can find it. Matthew Lillard. Chase's. Chase's. What am I doing? Chase's intruder. Wonder if I can just find an image of it. No. Well, anyway, if you guys look that up, it's pretty funny. I'm afraid to pull it up on somebody else's page. There's no telling what will come up. What else do we got? Newsworthy coming down the pipeline. We got in the anime world. We got Neon Genesis. It's been about 30 years since Neon Genesis Evangelion came out, and Neon Genesis has been a new one has been officially announced. This is an article by Ray Penber over here on Game Rant. The original Neon Genesis Evangelion ran from 1995 to 96, and in a short amount of time, it managed to make history. It's now been officially confirmed that Neon Genesis Evangelion is getting a new series, anime series, and the new project is officially in production. This is actually from a uh, orchestra that they did the music for right here. Very interesting stuff. It seems. Let's see. I think that the new writer is Yoko Yoko Taro, who was the writer, one of the writers for Near Automata. Let's see. The series is going to be produced by Studio Kara and Cloverworks together, and it is certainly a very exciting step given their pedigree. The staff that will be working on this project has also been officially revealed. The series will be directed by Kazuya Tsurumaki and Toru Yatabe together. On top of that, the series composition script will be handled by none other than Yoko Taro. The music for the new Evangelion anime will be handled by Kichi Okabe, who some fans should be familiar with. Interesting stuff. So I used to love the original Evangelion. It was one of the first like animes that really got me into mecha anime. Yeah, back in the 95, 96. Definitely cooking. Definitely cooking. I would agree. Um, RIP Gynex. I think that's how you say it. The studio that used to produce them, I think, went out of business a year or two ago. And um, from my understanding, it has a lot to do with financial management. They were having trouble. Excuse me. Um, I never watched the Rebuild series. Honestly, I'm a big fan of the original, the OG. Just because I heard that in the Rebuild series for Netflix, they censored some stuff. They replaced some voice actors. They took out the "Fly Me to the Moon" song at the end of the credits, probably because they couldn't get the rights to it anymore. I think that's a Frank Sinatra song. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know Frank Sinatra did do a version of it. Let's see. Interesting stuff. Here's to celebrate the 30th anniversary. A special festival was announced a while back, held at the Yokohama Arena in Japan, with figures such as Hideki Anno being present. This event lasted for 3 days, spanning from February 21st to February 23rd. Let's see. New staff. That's about it as far as that goes. And speaking of anime, we also have some other anime news. Let's see if I can find it. Mobile Suit Gundam. This is over here at what's the name of this website? This is the GundamOfficial.com news. I don't see the article author anywhere, but this is a uncredited author. Originally published in Japan. Says Mobile Suit Gundam G-Quux takes home the best TV series at the Tokyo Anime Award Festival in 2026. Mobile Suit Gundam G-Quux has won the best TV series in Anime of the Year category, the Tokyo Anime Award Festival 2026. The Anime of the Year category at the Tokyo Anime Awards Festival honors the most outstanding works and individuals from all titles screened, broadcast, and streamed in Japan during each fiscal year, with the grand prize, individual awards, and the Anime Fan Award. So G-Quux is killing it. I thought it was a great series. It's more like a what if to the Gundam official Universal Century timeline. Very interesting stuff. Good to see that it's getting the recognition that it's due. Honestly, though, I'm not sure if I would call it the best TV series. I do think that it's really good. Um, but I think that there's some other series out there, including like Demon Slayer. But I don't know if anything was released in the last fiscal year as far as Demon Slayer goes, other than the movie. Freerin could be up for that. But honestly, I really love G Quux. I thought it was a great series. Good to see that it's getting a lot of recognition. Let's see what else we got going on. The Perfect Grade Unleashed RX 78-2 Gundam was released over the past week to uh, really good reviews. A lot of people are loving this Gundam, loving the aesthetics of it. Wait, this is actually the wrong one. Hold on. It is the new Gundam. That's the one. New. Perfect grade. Let me see if I can find it because this is the wrong one here. PG Unleashed Nu Gundam. Here we go. This is it right here. This bad boy has been touted by people like Mecha Gyatso as being the perfect kit. Really cool. This is Amru's Big Daddy. He's not playing around anymore. Does look sick. I agree. The other one was actually the PG Unleashed RX 78 2, but this is the new Gundam. NU. I would play that, but I don't know if it has any copyrighted music or anything in it, so I'm just going to stay away from that. And what else we got going on? Looks really cool, really detailed. Johnny, hello, hello. Thanks for dropping by the stream. We're just wrapping up some of the news for this week. A lot of stuff that's been going on. Just talking about the new Gundam. I wonder how much this is retailing for right now. Yeah, this is the RX 93. Oh wow. You're looking on eBay. This Gundam is going for $669. Pretty expensive. Yeah, we are just talking about some of the news. So to wrap up, we talked about Xbox, um, on live support, Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond stepping down, Asha Sharma stepping into the limelight. Um, Original creator talking about how he thinks Xbox is going to be sunsetting, and um, Asha Sharma was brought in to help relieve its passing. Tencent, we talked about Tencent secretly funded High Guard. Talked about Toy Story 5, Scream 7, um, the new Evangelion movie, or the new Evangelion series, and G-Quack's getting a Best Anime Series award at the Tokyo Anime Awards. And then we talked about the PG Unleashed Nu Gundam. We got some stuff about the back rooms we talked about. Let's see. Now that we got a second, let's pull up some of this other stuff. I'm interested in this new X Files. Let's see. This is over here by IGN. The X Files reboot from Ryan Coogler gets its pilot order at Hulu, with Daniela Deadwaller set to star. This is an article by Michael Kripe. The sci-fi revival from the mastermind behind last year's Sinners has finally received a pilot order stream at the streamer after word of its existence emerged in 2023. In addition to gaining a co-lead in Deadwaller, the site says that C, the Copenhagen test, and Dexter writer Jennifer Yale has been brought on as showrunner. Deadwaller will play one half of the show's leading duo and is bringing more than 15 years of experience in movies and TV with her, in addition to appearances like shows like Atlanta and Watchmen throughout the 2010s. Recent years have seen her play prominent roles in films like 2022's Till, as well as 2024's I Saw the TV Glow and Carry On. I haven't really seen any of those, to be honest. Looks very interesting. Got some anime news over here, courtesy of Bond. Demon Slayer movie 2, March the 28th. Let's see. Let's pull this up. I hate IGN. Go away, IGN. Be gone. Demon Slayer. movie 2. This is over here. Demon Slayer Infinite Castle Part 2 shares major release date update and it will disappoint fans. Hmm. Well, that was really strange. Let me close this down. Something weird's going on in my window here. Had to reopen that. New One Piece news. Let's see here. One Piece. Let's go over here to How To Geek. How To Geek says One Piece Season 2, everything we know about Netflix's popular live action show. After a 3-year wait, it's finally time to step aboard the Going Merry again as One Piece Season 2 is on the horizon. Looks like March the 28th. So I was able to catch the first one, the first season. I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I've heard that they've changed up some of the actors, or changed some of the characters in the second season. So we'll see how that goes. I really enjoyed the first season. I'm a big fan of One Piece. I have not seen all of One Piece, admittingly, because there's like 1,000 episodes or something crazy like that. But I've seen a lot of the beginning of One Piece, different various episodes throughout. Alongside the returns of Cody, Rudd, McKinney, and Romero and Skylar, One Piece Season 2 will see Ward, Molino, Reagan, and Davies reprise their roles from Season 1. Excited about this. Definitely have to check this out. Like I said, I think Netflix did a pretty good job with the first one, first season. And then we got Dr. Stone Season 4. Dr. Stone Season 4. Let's go over here to Games Radar. Games Radar, Dr. Stone Season 4 Science Future release schedule. Dr. Stone's Science Future Episode 25 is next up, but you will unfortunately have to wait quite some time for the anime's return. Below, we're here to make sure you're 10 billion% sure that it's about its release plans, that Dr. Stone's Science Future Episode 25's release window and streaming time on Crunchyroll in the US and UK will be released in 2026 as part of Science Future's third and final part. The show is currently on a break following the end of its second core in, I don't know if that's a typo, in September 2025. Looks like it's set for March the 29th. Then we got Saints Row franchise is likely dead, according to former design director. Let's check this out. GameSpot. This is over here at GameSpot. We'll pull that up by Blair Marnell. Last year, Chris Stockman, the original design director of Saints Row, told fans that he was working on a pitch to return the franchise to its roots. Stockman made his original remarks on Discord, which have since been posted on X. I think the franchise is dead, unfortunately, wrote Stockman. I get that the sense that the Embracer has zero ability to do anything with it. I wish things were different. I tried my best to offer a path forward, but they ghosted me. That's kind of disappointing. Remember when we got excited about the prospect of Saints Row prequel? According to Saints Row 1 designer director Chris Stockman, Embracer is completely ignoring his idea. This was a tweet over here by RPG, Papa RPG. The most recent game in the series was 2022's Saints Row reboot. The industry is bigger than it's ever been in the sense that people hunger for games, said Stockman. People hunger for new experiences. I think it's entirely possible to be at number two. There's nothing wrong with trying to be at number two if you play your cards right. There may not be any Saints Row titles on the horizon, but Grand Theft Auto 6 will hit PlayStation 5 and Series Xbox on November the 19th, 2026. We got some movie news over here. Martin Scorsese, What Happens at Night, has begun filming in Prague. What happens at night? Let's go over here to the Cinemaholic. Martin Scorsese's What Happens at Night began filming in New York and the Czech Republic in February 2026. The story follows an American couple. This is an article over here by Shubaha Barata Duta. That's a heck of a name. Updated January 21st, 2026. The story follows an American couple who travel to a remote snowbound city in northern Europe to adopt a child. The wife, weak due to recurrent illness, seeks solace and renewal, while the husband suppresses his anxieties under a cloak of calm. Upon arrival at the decaying Grand Imperial Hotel, the couple's carefully laid plans begin to unravel amid the eerie grandeur and disordering rituals. Confronted by more ambiguities and their own emotional distance, the husband and wife are forced to question not only the future of their child, but also the viability of their marriage. Interesting stuff in the world of cinema, absolute cinema. So I see we got about 9 people watching across the various platforms that we stream on. Thank you guys for coming out today. I really appreciate it. Got a lot of stuff coming up this week. We're going to be doing a lot of follower and subscriber requested games. We got Unbeatable coming up, Phasmophobia. What was the other one? Get out of here with the weird ad. Let's see. Phasmophobia. Another one. Pull this up right here. The Matang appears. Yeah, we got Unbeatable coming up tonight. We're going to be playing Phasmophobia tomorrow night. Thursday, we're going to be working on beating Mega Man X2. We pretty much got to the end. So, I also found out some interesting stuff about Mega Man X2. unlike the first game, you don't need to get all the power ups and everything to get the shuriken. I was kind of disappointed in that, but there's some other things we can get if we get all the power ups. Friday we got dispatch coming up. Sunday during the day we're probably going to be playing the game that Johnny requested. Still working on that. And then we moved the Gundam build stream from Friday night to Sunday night for this week only. Just so we have, just because we have so many user or follower requested games to play. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. We are going to be doing a giveaway towards the end of the week with the Gamers Union website. And that's going to be for two $25 Steam gift cards. I'm trying to think if there's any more announcements, anything else we need to cover. I think that's about it for the gaming news, gaming pop culture news. Like I said, tonight we're going to be playing the rhythm and beat game Unbeatable. Looks really cool. I like the animation of it so far. Definitely going to check that out. Give my first impressions of it. Oh, the dot hack. Let's see. That's right. Dot hack reboot. Or is it? It's actually a sequel, not a reboot. Dot hack news. This is over here at Screen Rant. New dot hack game confirmed, and everyone's saying the same thing about it. Hmm. It's a reboot? Okay. And let's see. Many of the fans of the series reacted with pure shock. After all, it's been a decade since the Doc Hack game was released. This article over here by Screen Rant, story by Lee D'Amato. Another commenter gleefully pointed out that it's not only early 2000s video game series, but to be revived recently. So there's a couple other things that were revived recently, like Armored Core, Ace Combat. One person said, "I'll take it." An RPG within an RPG. See, Hack is a series of games about a fictional MMORPG called The World, and the players get lost within it. Now, Hack Doc Zero is something of a reset for the series, according to Famitsu, a Famitsu interview with Hiroshi Matsuyama, CEO of dev studio Cyber Connect 2. Hence the title, "We were restarting Dot Hack from zero," says Matsuyama. That means a new protagonist and an entirely new chapter of the story. Interesting. For people that have been with us for a while, we were playing Dot Hack. I got it off GOG, I believe. It's been a while. I need to get back to that game. But it's interesting that it's a reboot and not a sequel. Definitely have to check that out. It's been a long time. This is an interesting little blurb here. Someone says a Chrono Trigger remake coming soon from Squaresoft Enix. I hope that that's not true, honestly. Um, Chrono Trigger remake. Yeah, I was playing the System Shock remake for one of your streams. I need to get back to that. Is this true? Is this a Chrono Trigger remake might already be in development, according to an insider? This is an article by Joshua Robertson over on the Gamer. Let's see. Understanding this sort of led to discussions which games Asano team should remake, and while there were shouts about Final Fantasy VI, Parasite Eve, and Xenogears, the name that kept cropping up was Chrono Trigger. Let's see. For example, Harker claimed that Assassin's Creed Shadows, previously referred to Assassin's Creed Red, would release in 20, technically going forward. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't. I think that this might be hearsay. See if I can find another article on it. Chrono Trigger remake leak. Shocking insider claims Square Enix is reviving the classic. The bombshell dropped. This is an article over here by originally posted on Total Apex Entertainment by Matt Oliver, and this is by Yard Barker. The bombshell dropped during a recent Airform discussion about Square Enix team Asano survey. You know, one of those "which games do you want remade" questionnaires that usually goes nowhere. Fans were throwing out their wish list when Harker casually mentioned the Chrono stuff is already in dev, though. Just like that, the internet exploded. Harker went on to suggest fans ask for something else like the Triangle Strategy 2 or a proper Final Fantasy Tactics sequel. But be real. Be real. Nobody cared about that part. Everyone was too busy hyperventilating over the Chrono Trigger news. Harker didn't specify what kind of remake we're getting. Are we talking a full Final Fantasy VII style remake or reimagining? So this could have been just something that he blurted out. Maybe that they're in secret development. Um, Back in November 2025, during a YouTube stream celebrating Chrono Trigger's 30th anniversary, Dragon Quest creator Yuji Horii got cornered with $1 million question: is the remake happening? His response was delightfully suspicious. I can't say. You shouldn't ask that. I get told off. So it sounds like if it is in development, it's a very quiet, hush hush kind of thing. Um, in my opinion, I don't think that's a good idea. If it's a remake, maybe a remaster wouldn't be too bad. A one for one remake, though, I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel like the original is perfect, in my opinion, but I don't know how I'd feel about a one for one remake. Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Well, that's all I got for today, guys. I appreciate you coming out and hanging out with me today, talking about the gaming news, talking about the news of the world. Speaking of news of the world, uh, Mexico is having a lot of issues. I know one of the lead cartel head heads of a cartel in Mexico was just they tried to apprehend them, and I think that he was killed. And there's been a lot of unrest in Mexico and that kind of thing. So be careful if you're traveling to that area. Lots of wild stuff going on in the world right now. Be careful out there. Watch your six. Yeah, I hope they don't. Like, it sounds like they're starting to get things under the control. We are also having new issues with a deal from our president with Donald Trump. It's a garbage deal. Yeah, stay safe, everybody in Mexico. Um, I know that I know that the Supreme Court in the United States just um, shot down like the tariffs, and I think that they came back and tried to circumvent the ruling by implementing other things. I don't know a whole lot about that topic, about the deal with the president and whatnot, but that's about as far as I know what's going on with it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Let's see. So, because of the AI boom and the RAM shortage, hardware shortage, SSD shortages, all of the Steam Decks are currently sold out, including the LCD, which I think that they stopped production on. The OLED 520 gigabyte is out. 1 terabyte is out, and this is due to the AI push that's going on. Like, I know companies like Western Digital have made exclusive deals. Yeah, rest in peace. Hopefully that soon the AI bubble will burst and things will kind of return back to normal. But there's been a lot of really scary things that was said by some of these tech billionaires about how, well, you don't need hardware anymore. You can just basically rent rent a computer from the cloud, things like that. You would have taken one if it was available in your country. Yeah, I lucked out. My wife's awesome. I'm glad that she got it for me for Christmas. Even though that mine is the 256 gigabyte LCD, I'm very happy with it. I wouldn't be able to play a lot of my games that I'm able to like play, especially when I got downtime at work or when I'm sitting around on the couch and stuff like that, if it wasn't for the Steam Deck. And that's very disappointing that um, AI has now come for our video games. First, they were like, "Oh, AI is coming for your job." Now it's coming for our video games and our hardware. Let's see. Let's see if I can find some of the Steam Deck shortage. Um, this is over here at Geeky Gadgets. What that is. Julian Horsey. The Steam Deck OLED has sparked significant interest among gamers. The device's ability has been impacted by supply chain issues, particularly with memory and storage components. Let me see if I can find the comments made by these tech billionaires. Tech billionaire says you won't need hardware. This is over here at BGR. This was in January. Um, You may not actually own your next computer. Here's why, by Nicholas Bacchus. Almost everyone has a PC or laptop of some kind, but in the future you may not own one anymore, according to Jeff Bezos. Yeah, this is what I was thinking about. The idea of personal computers may not last much longer. In his 2024 interview, Bezos suggested that instead of buying computers, people may eventually rent computing power from the cloud. This is kind of a scary statement considering you got tech billionaires out there for the last couple of months saying, "Oh, you know, this saying this kind of stuff really that you won't have to own your own computer." And then you got for a while the saying is you will own nothing and be happy. So the Indonesia president made a deal to make tariffs stay at 19% except for a few other stuff. In return, the U.S. has zero tariff export from Indonesia. Indonesia must buy energy from the U.S. for millions of dollars. Indonesia must buy farm products from the U.S. for around 1 million. Bon, my net sucks. And that's really the problem with it, Bon, is like not everywhere in the world has the capability, unless you want to get Starlink, maybe, of pushing this kind of infrastructure. And Indonesia must give out the people's private data to be processed by U.S. companies. That's awful. And here's the awful thing about that. That data is going to be processed by these data centers that they keep popping up in like rural areas around America. And nobody I know is for these data centers. They're, from my understanding, they're allegedly heavily producers of waste, um, carcinogens that get put back into the water. It's your breakfast time. You'll be back in 15 minutes. No problem. We're about to head off here in a minute anyway, Vaughn. But I mean, you make a good point. Like, not everywhere in the world has the infrastructure capable of supporting this kind of like a business model, unless they want to go into these areas that can support them and dump billions of dollars into, which I don't see. And that just goes back to the whole thing that they were saying a couple years ago that you will own nothing and be happy. Uh, rent everything from us. This just goes to like back to wealth transfer that these billionaires are getting all this wealth, all this power. I worry about where it's headed. Kind of scary times. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. Um, Unless anybody else has got anything that they want to bring up, talk about. Um, Watch out for this guy right here. He's a shady dude. I used to work for Amazon warehouse, and my experience for that was less than desirable. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for today. Thanks for hanging out for a little while, going over the gaming news. Why is it always the bald guy or the old guy? It's all the weird stuff that they take. At every state, what exactly going on in my country, right? Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs with the whole tariff thing. I think, and honestly, in my opinion, has been kind of not a good thing. Um, it has generated money for American companies and stuff like that. But I worry that the savings and stuff aren't getting handed down to the people. Um, and it just seems like it puts pressure on other countries. Uh, I think it's made the AI, RAM, and SSD shortage even worse, considering the issues. I do know that they were in talks with Nvidia to produce chips, and they were in talks with Apple to produce um, chips inside the U.S. But when you got these other countries that have built up their infrastructure on producing and exporting these goods, and then you turn around and you try to change all that, suddenly it causes a lot of problems. The AI, I hope the AI bubble bursts. I hope it bursts too. Um, I really worry about this whole thing about renting your computing power from the cloud. You would just pay for some sort of device that just accesses, and it seems like a lot. There's a lot of big push for that, but the problem with that is, like I said, people don't have. They're not going to own their own ability to create. Um, Everything will be through a live service. Back in the day, if you wanted Adobe Premiere or Adobe Photoshop, you could just purchase Adobe Photoshop, and you still can. It's kind of steep in price, but now it's all moved to the cloud. Everything's moving to the cloud. Everything's AI driven, and like I said, I worry that um, that's going to limit access to people that either can't afford it or don't have the infrastructure to support it. And that's a really scary thing that we're moving towards. But I hope that people can push back on it and do something about it, um, because we're still going to need hardware. They're just going to try to make it so that normal people can't afford it, and that's for various reasons. And it seems like it all goes back to control. And then you got the whole ID thing, the whole thing about showing your ID, presenting some sort of digital internet ID. That's a very scary thing, considering companies like Sony and that have consistently let people's information get leaked or hacked or stolen, allegedly. It goes back to, do you want these companies in possession of your personal information? And I don't. But I don't know if it's something that we can really stop at this point unless people wake up really quickly and pass some laws. You know what I think? I think there should be an age maximum for being a CEO. Yeah, I would almost agree with that. There would have to be some specifics on it. It would seem to me that smart CEOs and people that really, companies that really knew what they were talking about, the bad ones, I mean, yeah, that they would eventually realize that they're out of touch with the younger generations and pass the torch on to them, but it doesn't seem like that ever happens. And it's the same way in our political systems in the US and in Congress and stuff like that. You got these dinosaurs, these people that have been in there for 1,000 years, who are out of touch with like the mainstream and young people who have no idea what's going on. Uh, but yeah, I would propose maybe there's term limits on CEOs, salary caps. Um, But it's a hard thing to do with our current financial, political systems, capitalism, and whatnot. Old people with powers are often have massive egos. I would agree, every stakes, and it just seems like the older they get, the worse it gets. But yeah, here in America, my personal view is that we need term limits for politicians, and maybe, like you said, maybe there should be something in the bylaws of corporate laws and whatnot that um, prevent CEOs from having like a just wild astronomical uh, salary. But at the same time, people come back and say, "Oh, that's socialism. You can't have that." Yeah, you can't have people who have common sense. Anyway, guys, I think that's all I got for today. We'll be back tonight, hanging out, playing a little bit of Unbeatable, having a good time. Unfortunately, yep. But we'll be back tonight, hanging out, having a good time, playing Unbeatable. Tomorrow we're gonna be playing. I think I had Phasmophobia lined up for tomorrow. I'm gonna get with you. But I hope everyone has a great day, morning, night, wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little while today, going over the gaming news. Cool, cool. Well, we'll see everybody later. Peace. Stay safe. Y'all have a great evening, morning, wherever you're at in the world, and we'll see you later on, guys. Peace.